Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Two-time Academy Award winner Cate Blanchett will make her Broadway debut in the Sydney Theatre Company's production of The Present, which is Andrew Upton's new adaptation of Anton Chekhov's first play, Platonov. It will open on January 8th at the Barrymore Theatre, and we drop by the rehearsal studio to meet the company. Well, first of all, welcome to Broadway. How does it feel?
Well,
I'm thrilled.
It's incredibly exciting, because obviously we've presented work through the Sydney Theatre. I can't talk. Yes, but hopefully by opening night I will have mastered English. No, but we've presented a lot of work here, The Maids and, all the way back to Hedda Gabler and Streetcar and, Uncle Vanya, which we worked on together. And so there's an ensemble, people are seeing an ensemble of actors, but we get to do a longer run. So it's always thrilling to be able to do that. And Broadway audiences are like no other. So, an audience thinks they come to see the work, but you also as an actor, you come to engage with the audience. So I'm terrified but excited, yeah.
And for you?
Oh, look, I'm thrilled for the company because I do think it's an extension of the work we've brought here before and a development of that. But also for myself, I'm very excited. I'm very proud of this adaptation, it's virtually a new play, really. And I think the work in it is, the work the actors are doing is really beautiful.
Let's talk about this adaptation. I cannot wait. I've been reading all about it. What was it like working on this, and when did you first see the script?
Oh, I got it when everyone else did.
She did?
It's an ensemble work, and I'm an ensemble member, not your partner.
Oh, come on. No, I do probably work relatively, because I'm working so closely with the actors in my mind, it's better for me to kind of get as close to what I think is the right thing before I start opening it up. Otherwise, it just becomes a bit too porous. So I'm pretty secretive. I got this 300-400 pages of literal translation of a very unstructured play. It was really a rough draft by Chekhov. And so I thought, there's a lot of freedom in this. And I started to pick out this kind of central story, which is not really central necessarily to Platonov, which is the story of Anna Petrovna's impact on these three boys. So she was a young woman. She was sort of snaffled up by a general who was much older than her as his second wife. And she lands in this family, and she's got a son or a stepson who's 2 or 3 years younger than her. And he's got friends. And the impact on them 20 years prior to this play is still resonating when the play starts, which is at her 40th birthday. So it's a kind of, all of that backstory sort of jams itself into the present and is affecting all of their ability to navigate the future, whilst at the same time Russia is shifting out of communism and going into that kind of free fall that it went through in the 90s.
What was it like for you the first time you got the play, why you wanted to direct it?
I was swept up in the energy of the writing, which isn't something that's always true of versions of Chekhov. And I don't read the Russian original, so, but Andrew worked very closely from a literal translation, and I think he really does understand Chekhov's rhythms. And I was amazed by the wit and energy that was just flying off the page, and then a second later that it was heartbreaking. So the sort of full mix that's very particular to Chekhov, of happy, sad quality, was right there.
And talk about working with this incredible ensemble of actors led by, of course, Cate Blanchett.
They're a mad bunch. They're great. They're great fun, and they're kind of fearless with the play, and led by Cate, who in her theatre work is just the most wonderful clown, actually. She has a surprisingly sort of wilder streak to her work in the theatre that I think a lot of people would be surprised by.
This play means a lot. I think it's... As a young actor, I think Chekhov is something that you meet really early on, and for the combination of our Australian company and Andrew's Australian spin on something that is very Chekhov and very Australian at the same time is really kind of special to work on.
And as an older
Slightly.
actor, slightly older, only slightly older actor, I've done a reasonable amount of Chekhov. This is kind of very different because it is a different take on it. It is a new version of it, and it's a great ensemble piece which has a lot of comedy in it, as well as a lot of pathos in it. So I hope that comes across. I hope it works.
Now, who do you play?
I play Alexei, who's a suitor for Cate's part, Anna, a would-be suitor. It doesn't quite work out without giving it away. And I'm the father of Kirill, who Eamon is playing. And we have an interesting relationship.
Were you aware of the play beforehand?
Well, I knew of Platonov, but there have been a few variations, haven't there? Wild Honey and all of those. But it was really interesting. It's his first play, and I think they lost the first page of the play, so they never really knew what the play's name was. So
Everybody came up with their own name, right? Andrew came up with The Present. I mean, for you, what has it been like working on this new play?
It's been extremely exciting. It's, to work with actors like Susan and Toby and obviously Cate and Richard has just been a dream come true for me. And I think Andrew's adaptation is brilliant. And also to work with a director like John is he's amazing.
Toby, for you?
Yeah. Well, the exciting thing for me is that we've tested this out in Sydney. You know, it's kind of a bit of a Trojan horse that we trust already. We'll see how it goes down here, but we already love the production, and so did the audiences in Sydney.
Who do you play in the show?
Okay, so I play Dmitry, who is Yegor's son, and he's a young kind of opportunistic businessman, kind of just getting out of university or college, and he's on the rise, and he very much deals with winners and losers. I don't think there's really anything, so that's a little clue as to who he is, yeah.
And for you?
Well, as Dmitry's father, I'm sort of a successful businessman. Some people might call me a minor oligarch. I've got plenty of dough, and he's always looking for more. Does that sound familiar? Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to the most of being here this time of year on Broadway?
Well, on Broadway, I'm actually really excited for snow. I've never seen snow before, and I have planned to go to every single fast food restaurant in America. Because the bacon here, oh my God.
You better start today.
You guys, already have. Oh my God. You guys do bacon like no other country.
Really?
You hit the room, and yes, it is Cate Blanchett. She does win the Oscars. But it's kind of.
The Oscars, you win a lot more too.
But she is really an ensemble member and really there with you, and it's just hard work and good work and fun and alive and playful and.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
you know, when she started working back with the Sydney Theatre Company, I remember people sort of saying, "Oh, she's come back to the Sydney Theatre Company," and how lucky we are to have that, and that is true. It sort of undercuts, though, the fact that it really is her passion. Yeah. Theatre is a great passion of hers, and it's at a cellular level. You know, it is her. It's such a milieu for her. I mean, she can do anything. Have you seen her manifesto yet? The art opening of manifesto. Oh,
everything she's done on stage here.
And you look at that and you know that she's just in her element. She is just the most sublime actress.
We did this before in Australia, so we're coming at it a year later, and it's just grown a lot. And I don't think that's just imagination. We all have felt that. Something happens when you sit on a play for over a year, and it comes back. And I think because you've done it before, you come at it with a greater sense of confidence, and that stuff is all just there, and something's happened. It's been bubbling away under there the whole time. So I'm feeling really good about it this time around.
And I'm really still struck by Cate and Richard. They're so good, and so a year later, seeing them again, I sit there. I'm quite aghast at how talented and gifted those two are. Oh, everybody. He's really talented, gifted too.
Oh, no need to include me.
No, I want to. Well, first of all, I read it. And, you know, I mean, reading a reworking of a Chekhov is you know, you go in with some trepidation at times. Because in the wrong hands, Chekhov could be, frankly, quite tedious. And I have never been so excited having, read a reworking of I don't think any work. I just thought it was so explosive and anarchic and dangerous and wonderful. I thought the way that he adapted it was just extraordinarily good. And then to know that John Crowley was going to be directing it as well, and that it was going to be this bunch of players who we've worked with across time, including Blanchett. It's fantastic.
What's it like sharing the stage with her?
Oh, look, Kate's always fabulous to work with because, I mean, she and I think, have done 3 Chekhovs now, and it's not just a friendship about Chekhov, but we've done so much work in the theatre together and have such a love of it. And I just adore her. I adore working with her. I love the great safety net of working with her and knowing how real it's going to be.
Many people will be coming to the theatre for the very first time because they're coming to see you. But you'll change it forever for them because we always remember that first time we went to the theatre. What that means to you.
Look, and I think the theatre is one of the few honest, open, live, reactive spaces we have left. For 2 hours, 2.5 hours, people put their phones away and they just are with another group of people. Yeah. And I mean, to be told this really warm story, well, I mean, it is like a bad Thanksgiving or a bad Christmas. There's a lot of pain and agony and things that people will recognise. And so hopefully they'll laugh and cry and recognise themselves, because you go to the theatre to reconnect with what it means to be human, which is pretty important, I think, these days.